Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and I have two guests with me today. I have Rhonda Thompson, who is the director of the library in Ripley, New York, and Dr. Earl Freling, who's been on before, but he's not only a chiropractor, he's also the president of the board of directors at the library in Ripley. And they are here today. I've asked them here today because of this article that I found back in October. This is a big deal, the October 1st issue of the Jamestown Post-Journal, and found out that they were in the process of a big renovation going on at the Ripley Library. So, Rhonda, would you like to tell the viewing audience something about yourself?
Oh, yes, I've been with the Ripley Library since 2014. And when I started there, I realized that they were operating on such a tiny little budget. It was like, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to stay open as a library on this. Mm-hmm. So I went forth with this idea of becoming a school district library. Oh. And so that was quite a little endeavor, but we got through it.
Did they not have a library at the school?
Oh yeah, it's not like that at all. Of course there was a library in the school. When they call it a school district library, it means that it is supported by the people within that school district through their school taxes. Okay, so, and that's how that comes about. So then we went from being an association library to being supported by the taxpayers.
Oh,
okay. So it just adds like a tiny little bit. I think it was $1.04 per thousand or something like that, that it increased their taxes so that we could actually have an operating budget. So once we got done with that, I'm looking around and it's like, well, actually before we were through with that, I knew we were going to have to get into some sort of building project, that we would have to expand the library in some way. And we had all this wasted space upstairs with a old drop ceiling that was in, and you know, we just kind of used the upstairs as storage. It's like, we could use this as a part of the library. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get going in that, and then all of a sudden, it was what, 2 years ago? It was in March of 19. We were having our art show, and we noticed that part of the ceiling was coming down. Oh. And oh boy, that opened up some. Oh my gosh.
So you didn't have to have a special education to become the library director?
My former profession is I'm a teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I do have, you know, my teaching certification. I have a master's degree. My master's is just in interdisciplinary studies, and I taught social studies in high school. Oh. So, you know, I already had background of education that pulled me into this. But yes, good question there, yeah. In Ripley, smaller libraries, they usually want you to have at least an associate's degree before you come in. Larger libraries, you need a master's of library science.
Oh, okay. So. Actually, my sister, my sister, who lives in Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania, actually works in a library near Mifflinburg. It's not right in Mifflinburg, but and then her son went to college for library science. So and he works in college library now, and has a couple of other jobs. But anyway, Earl, you told us some other things about yourself on a previous episode, but what we'd like to know today is, how did you become president of the board of directors? Do you have to be elected? Do people vote?
Yes, it is an election. And I had been just going to the library on a casual basis, mostly on our open poetry nights. So I'd go and listen and read some of my writings. And somehow I got interested in being on the Friends of the Library.
Oh, okay. What is the Friends
That's
of the
a group
Library?
That supports the library. It's not really part of the library, but they are boosters that support us financially and otherwise. They do a lot of great things.
Oh, okay.
And So I was on that for a very short while, but then a position on the board opened up, and I was asked to sit in, so I had to resign myself from the Friends of the Library, and I joined the board. And it's been, what, probably 4 or 5 years, I think.
I think so, yes.
And this last, almost a couple years ago, I was voted onto the board as the president, and that's
Everybody thought you should be the one.
well, they just didn't want to be the one, I guess. So,
It
Oh,
is
those
board
things-
members that actually elected him as president.
Oh, okay.
And there are kind of term limits.
Uh-huh.
It's so that nobody gets burned out. You know,
Oh, okay,
So, like, he
okay.
can do it for a few years, then he'd take a break, and then they'll put him back in there.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay. So, now, the newspaper article said that Phase 1 is nearing completion. Now, does that mean that there's different segments?
yes.
How many phases are there going to be?
Right now, it feels like 10.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
We're actually going into the second phase.
We are. They're kind of working both
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah. And a lot of it has been determined by just certain events that have happened, and of course finances. We're sitting quite pretty financially as far as these construction projects are concerned. First phase is basically getting the library in shape. We had some pictures that we'll show later probably. And
Do you know how much time we're going to need to show the picture?
it won't take long.
Oh, okay. I just
But
wondered.
as Rhonda indicated before, it first started out a couple years ago. Now we've been working at this for a long time, coming up with different money-raising plans. We've done yard sales, we've done auctions, we've had murder mysteries, and we've raised a lot of money over the years for this project to match what we had to obtain for the grants to be authorized. But during our one yard sale, all of a sudden the suspended ceiling started to collapse. Well, we soon realized it wasn't the suspended ceiling that was coming down, it was the ceiling above it, which had been put in probably in the late 1940s. And this is a building that was built in the 1887 area, circa 1887.
okay.
1892.
1892. Anyway, so we had a crew come in to remove the suspended ceiling, and then we could hear some creaking and cracking, and the other ceiling was starting to come down, so we had to have
the
that.
one above the one?
Yes. So,
okay.
so we had that removed, which was quite a dirty project. And then the ceiling above it was in worse shape, the original ceiling, which is where we exposed the rosette that we'll show.
Oh, yeah. I've got a list of questions here
Yeah,
that...
and so we had that ceiling removed, which was a very, very dirty project. There was
dirtier, yeah.
well over 140 years worth of dirt and all kinds of things up there. And we exposed a few structural weaknesses that had to be corrected. Two of the main trusses, scissor trusses that were holding the whole roof up, had sagged and had rotted down into the top plate beam on the east end of the building. So that all had to be jacked up and re-supported. A lot of them had to be drawn together at the corner, which we will show. And so it's been a very interesting process. The framing process, we're trying to recreate the look of the old ceiling, a coffered ceiling. We've added an extra mezzanine balcony inside. And so basically, just doing that and opening up the old choir loft and balcony that was there, we've almost doubled our floor space.
Wow.
Added 2 stairwells that meet
Well,
codes.
you found a room that you didn't know about?
Well, actually up in the bell tower.
In the bell tower,
Yeah,
yes.
and we are in the process of converting that into an office for Rhonda, so she can oversee on high.
Yes, or
And,
be the bat and the
but
belfry,
it's,
you know.
yeah, it's a very interesting room. The ceiling is probably 14 to 16
Oh,
feet
yeah,
tall.
Wow.
And it is a very nice room. We put a stairwell up into that. We have to seal it up a bit, and we're going to put some windows in the bell tower itself. There's no bells in there.
No bells in there, no.
Yeah, I was just wondering, how does a library come to have a bell tower? Was it a church?
Yes, it was. This is
it was.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wondered about that
Yeah.
because I was reading about a bell tower, and it's like,
Yeah, it's originally the original First Baptist Church of Ripley,
okay.
which was
okay.
turned over to the library in early 80s?
1982.
82.
Is they had built themselves a new church up on Side Hill Road, and they had moved up there, so they sold that building to the library board.
Oh, okay. Did they have a previous library building then in Red?
We did, but it was very small.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a small building across from Meters. Originally, the library was in the Hamilton Mansion until 1968. And
Is
then-
that the one next door to your office?
Yes, yes. And they moved that library in 1968 to a old building across from Meters Restaurant, and it was there for quite a while.
It was, well, until
And it was-
82.
and it was small.
But very small.
Very small,
So
yes.
24 years that it was there.
Right,
at
yeah.
least.
I remember going there as
Yeah,
a child.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they find any other problems besides the workers? Did they find any other problems besides
Structural.
besides the ceilings
Well,
and roof?
Well, a couple mornings they came in and found their porta-john tipped over, but
Their what? Oh, their porta
Yeah.
potty.
we had some structural problems with regards to the balconies. I mean, you could walk across the balconies and feel them sagging. And if we were going to be putting 10 tons of books and shelves up there, we needed more support. So the crew poured 85 bags of concrete in the basement to form pillars, pads for the new steel support columns that they put all the way from the basement up to the second floor, supporting the mezzanine balconies as well as the main beams and trusses. So it's very sound now. There is no give to the floors at all. We have totally rewired the building, brand new lights, recessed can lights and some chandeliers that will be in the main area. Will provide more efficient lighting. It's all LED lighting now. There shouldn't be any shadows, I hope.
No, well, hopefully not.
So it's been quite an extensive project. Insulation, drywall,
Wow.
new framework, totally new framework in the coffered ceiling area. Very impressive job by New Wood Construction. It's been quite a project.
Yeah. Do you think it cost as much as building a whole new building? By any
Actually,
chance?
not.
Really?
I don't think it
I
did.
don't think so, no,
Yeah.
no. But see, and this way too, we are restoring.
Historical building?
Yes, I mean, it's not on the historical list, okay? But it is a historic to our town, and, we don't need another empty building around. We are, utilizing what's there, and by doing this, we have shortened this up, and it will last another couple hundred years.
Oh, good.
It's a very solid structure otherwise. You just can't beat that old type of construction. We've tried to maintain some of the original look, the stained glass, for instance, that is in the large windows. That'll still be there, and we are trying to bring back some of that original look with some other more modern windows that we're putting in place of where some of the original stained glass windows were. We are going to be doing some outside renovations as soon as the weather breaks to new fascia and soffit, seal the building up a little bit better, give it a little better curbside appeal.
Now, is this a wooden building? Or
No, it's brick. It's
Brick.
Mostly
okay.
brick. Mostly brick with a wooden infrastructure
Oh,
and
okay.
roof, of course.
Okay. 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 Now, the pandemic held up the renovation until you were going to get started in the spring, and then held it up until August.
Yes, and then now we've also, the crew members have been fighting COVID.
Some of them have come down with
Yeah,
it?
so that and then the holidays. Over the holidays is when they seem to have really had some issues.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they're back at it. They started back
They've
in
recovered
yesterday. Yeah,
then.
they've recovered, and they started back in on this yesterday. And so it'll be good to have them in there. Just to give an idea, though, of how expansive and how much goes into this, I was talking to the painter, and just one coat of paint on the building, inside the main room that we'll be in, it was 65 gallons of paint.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
That's a big room.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that was like, wow. So when you think about what goes into this,
Oh yeah, that's a lot. Wow.
it is a lot. We've done a lot of fundraising for this. I do want to also state that no taxpayer money thus far has been used in any of these renovations. We've done it all through raising of grants, writing grants, and fundraisers.
Oh yeah. So you needed to get an audit. Now how is that done?
I will just go through the bookkeepers. We have a bookkeeper that does our payroll, and we'll just go through them. We've done it before a few years back, but it's probably time for another one. So
Oh yeah.
we need like a more current audit to be able to go into writing other grants other than state grants.
Oh
They
yeah.
usually require an
Yeah.
audit of some, find out what things are.
So okay, so these grants, they come from where then?
Mostly these are coming from the state. The state has so much money set aside for libraries.
Oh.
And this money
okay.
goes out to the systems. There's library systems. Ours is Chautauqua and Cattaraugus library system. And then I apply through that, and they will determine how much their board, the CCLS board, will determine how much money each library gets based on
okay.
their grant and where they're at. And
Okay.
so that is where the bulk of our grant money has come from.
Oh, okay. And there are other ways that you can raise funds, are there?
Yeah, we do like Earl said, we have done murder mysteries, we have auctions, we do bake sales. I mean, all these little things help.
Do
Every
you
little
have
thing
used
helps.
book sales by any chance?
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we do book sales, and then I will also write for more like local grants. I'll write for that, but I would like to be able to get in on some of the more larger ones, like the Ralph C. Wilson grants that are out there. But those are
okay.
the ones that do require having an audit to
Oh,
see where
okay.
you're at, because they're not going to just give money away willy-nilly. It's hard to give money away in a smart way.
In a smart way, yeah.
So we have to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row, so to speak, so that we can get this grant money. Where's it going to go? It's, and of course, it's always going to benefit our community. Anytime you invest in a library, you are investing for the future and for many years to come. This is going to benefit a community for years and years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's always kind of a, if somebody needs to give money away that way, libraries are always a good way to go.
So you, people are only borrowing books on a pickup basis, like
Right.
where they can let you know what books they want to borrow, and
They can come in. Right now we're open 2 days a week, and we do curbside pickup for people, that are a little bit concerned, but they can actually come into the library. But those that they might call us and say, I want to order this book or that book, or through the system, the CCLS system, you can go online, you can order what book you want, and because you are like a Ripley resident and your library card says you're from Ripley, the books through the system will be brought to our library. We will call them, hey, your books are in, and they will come and pick them up. If they don't want to come in, they call us when they get there, and then we mask up and put gloves on, and we take their books out to them.
oh, okay, yeah. Like sometimes people might really just want to come in and browse to see what catches their attention that they might want to borrow.
Right, that they want to borrow.
so-
And which they can, but libraries right now are all kind of You know, you don't
There's
want
a lot
the-
of restrictions.
Right, you don't want them hanging around too long,
Uh-huh.
you know. And then also, any book they touch must then go into a bin where it gets quarantined. You know, just because of the pandemic. There's a lot of different rules that have come out from the CDC right now.
Before the pandemic, do you have like computers and things at your
Oh,
library that people
absolutely.
can come in and use?
Absolutely. We have 8 computers for the public to come in. There's also Wi-Fi. You know, they can get their Wi-Fi. I leave it on 24/7 so that they can even park outside of the building and use Wi-Fi if needed. So yeah, they can come in and use computers. We would have fax service. You can get copies made. I'm trying to think what else. Of course, and borrow books, but it's much more than just books. We had programming, you know, different kinds of programs that we would do for people, and you know, it's libraries are so much more than just books. You know, of course, that's always going to be a part of it, but libraries have learned to adapt with the changing times. You know, it's the one institution that's still alive.
Oh yeah. Well, I hope that with all of these computers and everything, I'm hoping that that never puts an end to just the regular books.
I don't think so. We get a lot of people come in and say, you know, yeah, the e-readers are great, but I like the feel of the book. And I think, you know, and I can relate with that because I do too. It's like, I do have an e-reader,
It's
but
probably better for your eyes too,
I
isn't it?
think
Do you
so. But I think there's
so?
something about holding the book.
Yeah.
And
It's tactile.
yeah, and there's something also about walking into the library. There's that smell.
The smell of the library.
Yes, you know, it just smells good. It just smells good. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go into, I think, our senses, that we see it, we just get that library feel, you can smell it. I don't know, it just, libraries have just a pull, I think, for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, it is kind of fun to go in and back in the old days before the pandemic, hang around, you know, spend time, you know, sitting in. Because I remember you could go in and sit down and read a magazine that was there, because the libraries always have magazines. Now,
Magazines, newspapers.
yeah. And let's see here. What is the name of the company that's doing the renovations?
New Wood Construction.
New Wood
Creations. New Wood Creations.
New Wood
Creations.
Creations.
Okay. All right. I stand corrected.
And from the article, I take it that you were quite impressed with them.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Are they New York State based
Yes.
company?
Yes, out of Asheville. Asheville, New York.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, just down in
Just-
small town Asheville.
Yeah, just down the road a bit.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think we already talked about the board of directors and the members of Friends of the Library, but if you want to, you could tell us what their responsibilities are.
Okay, well, the Board of Trustees, actually, they govern the library, okay? They govern the library. The director runs the library.
That's you.
And that's me, yes. And I take most of what my ideas or whatever, I take them to the board, and they can say, oh, I don't think we want to do that, or things like that. But I actually I do the day-to-day running of it, and then I have a clerk who does most of the cataloging, and will check the books in and out, answer the phones, that type of thing. I take care of the finances and contacting, dealings with the state, dealings with the library system, and just, like I said, the running of the library to keep it there. That's kind of how that breaks down. And then the board is there to, like I said, to govern and make the major decisions.
Oh, okay.
So it's like I pushed for going district, and it was the board that's like, yep, I agree. I think this is something we need to do, and then they helped make it happen.
Oh, good.
Then it was when it came time for renovations, they were like, I took this like, we need to make some changes, we got to do this or that. They were totally in agreement, and then when the ceiling started to come down, I remember Earl said, he goes, you know what? This is actually a blessing in disguise. This is a good thing, because this is going to force our hand to get this going. And it did. And it has come so far. Oh my gosh.
And it must have been kind of scary too when you saw the ceiling start to
Yeah, it was
come
like,
down.
I mean, I wasn't really frightened or anything, but it was like, I guess we really can't have people in here, because when this comes down on top of their heads, you know.
I know.
So, you know, we had to kind of close it down, which was heartbreaking. And then when we got the drop ceiling down and we saw what was pushing it down was from up above the ceiling we had no idea existed, then it's like, yeah, we need to take this down too. And that was going to be a bigger problem. But before all this had happened, because we were talking about doing this, we already had an architect.
Oh, okay.
And so we kind of called him in on it, and he helped get, you know, people in place and says, you know, we can do this.
Was that who found the people doing the work for you?
Yes, he also was very helpful in finding a company to come in and, you know, make a bid on doing the work. So.
Oh, that's good. Now, in the article, you said you want this to be a community center as well as a library. Would you tell us about that?
Well, as Rhonda indicated, the library is more than just books. We have special speakers who come in. We have groups that meet there, everything from quilting to knitting. We have poetry nights. We have movies available. We have the computer lab. We have thousands of books.
Right.
I would like to see more things featured there, more programs. We are in process of creating a program director position in which someone will be actively seeking out people to come in for different
I see. Somebody
things.
who actually takes care of
Yes.
making the plans.
Yes, for lecturers, book signings,
And they will,
events.
that will be the person that contacts people.
Correct.
Right, and sets that up.
To get them lined up for these different programs.
Yes, and we've
and
had
things.
numerous children's programs, reading programs, summer programs. It's been a lot of fun. We've had people bring in animals.
Oh, yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, Patty Benton, who helps now with the Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue, she comes, I have her come on a couple times a year with a dog, and
Certainly.
we talk all about the canine rescue and show pictures of all of the dogs that are presently available and so forth. And she said that they have brought dogs to the Westfield Library anyways.
Yeah, they've had them out to Ripley too. We've had the dogs out there.
In fact, back last spring, she had brought in a pit bull named Heaven, and she said that she'd had Heaven at the library for a children's program, and she was really good with the kids. The dog was. So.
We have. I'd like to see certain designated areas in the library. One of the things that we fought hard as the board to protect was the old baptismal area where they would actually baptize.
Really?
It's a very ornate piece of woodwork, and it closed the baptismal bath part off several years ago and made it put a floor in there. It's almost like a small stage now, which could be used for a number of things, anything from a reading nook to possibly some type of little puppet show.
Puppet show or something.
Or I would like to see an area where perhaps we could even get a small, like a baby grand piano in there or something for recitals, you know, to attract different things, events to the library.
Oh, yeah.
Music teachers are always looking forward to finding a place that they can have a recital. And I think that would be a nice cultural addition to the library.
Now, about this baptismal area, now, in the Baptist church, do they submerge the person
yeah,
completely,
total
so it's
submersion.
almost like a little pool, or
It was,
or
yeah, it was
something.
like a
was,
good
yeah.
sized
It
tank.
isn't like some churches, like the Lutheran Church. They just have, just enough
More of
with
a-
a little
more of a
bowl of water, and then they
christening.
put the water on people's heads and
Right.
things. So anyways, it's different with some churches. So now I was going to say something about asking you how things have been going since the completion of phase one, but phase one really isn't quite complete yet.
Not
No,
yet.
no. There's really just tying up some of they're at the end of it now. And they had to do part of it. Part of it came in, excuse me. Part of this came in, they did part of phase two along with phase one, because once they got into this, it just made sense to do it now. And one of that was putting in the new balcony that we had to put
Oh,
in.
okay,
So we have like 3 balconies, almost makes it like a
Okay.
mezzanine. And so they're pretty much complete now with phase one, other than, well, they're putting, you said the railings are going up now.
And trim.
And the
is
trim work.
It's gonna mostly finish work right now. The major project is complete. The
Yeah.
structural renovations, the insulation, the rewiring, the lighting. Now we're basically down to the trim and the railings, and then the carpet,
And then the
we're
carpet,
pretty
yeah.
much done.
And then they'll go into phase two, which is the room that we're packed in right now. We'll be able to get after they're done with it, we can get our books back into the main part there. And then they'll work in what we used to call the community room, which is now will turn into the circulation room. It
The
will-
circulation.
Yeah. So that's like where you would go up to the circulation desk and get information and whatever.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
So that will be the phase two. So that's phase two part of it. Phase three is still off in the distance a little bit.
What will that be?
That will be the second floor. We're going to put a second floor above the phase two room.
Oh, okay. Okay, a whole brand new floor.
Right.
Oh,
right.
okay.
And then that is where we can use it as the community room.
Oh, okay.
And then, like when he was saying about putting in a piano and things like that, it would be beautiful up there. When we might even be able to put some sort of stage thing up so that we could have plays up there again, and enough room for people to go in and sit and, watch these things. So.
Okay.
Also, we're gonna, in compliance with ADA, we're probably gonna have to have an elevator.
Oh yeah, we'll need an elevator.
Oh,
That's
right.
actually a major
That's a major
part of the.
Do you have a
center phase.
handicap ramp outside the
We do,
building?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And automatic doors,
Okay.
all that good stuff. And we're probably going to be putting new doors on the front of the building
Yeah.
too.
Oh yes, we'll
'Cause
need new
they're-
doors out there.
The ones that are there might as well not even be there.
No, the wind comes right through them. So yeah, there's still a lot to do, but I mean, this is so exciting that we're actually going to have this part done and be able to bring all our books back in there, and it is exciting.
Which is going to be a major event.
Oh, that's going to be a major.
Yeah, we have a 40-foot storage container packed. We have a storage shed that is packed. We have are using the old post office building,
Yes.
which is half filled with our books and equipment. And it's going to be fun moving it all back.
Right, yeah.
Especially
The guys want to know if you foresee issues of static electricity with the carpet. I'm not sure.
I'm not really sure of that.
Don't wear polyester clothing when you go to the library. I think we probably should move along now
Okay.
to look at the pictures.
yes. Let's see what we have here. They're not necessarily in any order. This is our library.
That used to be a church.
That used to be
a
the church.
As you can see in the corner facing us is the bell tower, which
Oh,
we'll be putting some windows in up there so
Yes.
Rhonda can look out. As you can see, the fascia and soffit on the gables is a little rough. But that's going to be replaced in conjunction with the semicircular windows that will be placed in those gables.
Oh,
As you can
okay.
see, the library, the sides facing west and north are mirror images of each other. They're identical as far as window
okay,
placement
yeah.
and doors.
I'm glad you brought that to my attention.
Could go on to the next picture. That's us. This is just a little drawing I did to show the window placement in the bell tower. It would be the same on the other side because it is a mirror image. We have 6-foot diameter semicircular windows for the gables that will also have some operating panels underneath, from what I understand. And we have replaced a few of the other windows, casement windows that are underneath that semicircular window. And we'll probably put some semicircular windows with casement windows in the bell tower also. That old entrance on this side on the left on the first floor is presently just blocked off with plywood, but we're going to do something a little different with that. At least put a window in there to bring some light into the old entranceway. Oh, that's our creepy basement stairs. The basement's like a dungeon. In fact, in the past, we have actually had some Halloween programs down there where we take the kids down and scare them to death.
And that's another picture of the basement?
This is in the basement. This is our furnace. There are 2 furnaces that are zoned. They're actually high efficiency furnaces.
They're good
and we've
furnaces.
convinced the builder and contractors to maintain this and just put in, with the existing system, install a air conditioning, central air system, which is going to save us a tremendous amount of money.
Right.
I
'cause-
see a hot water heater in the
Yeah,
picture, too.
we're gonna be replacing that with an on-demand hot water tank.
Oh, one of those ones that
Correct.
heats the water
As you use
as
it.
you
As you
use
use it, yeah.
There's no
Okay.
sense in heating 40 gallons of water 24/7 for somebody to wash their hands.
Okay.
Here's some of this original stonework in the basement, and you can see in the corner there the stairwell that goes up to the back entrance of the library. I would like to see us pour a concrete floor down there too. That basement was filled with about 40 or 50 years worth of junk that we had to get out. I almost have filled a 20-yard dumpster just with that.
Yeah.
This
it looks, you said that church was built in the 1800s, right?
1890, did you say?
1892, but
1892.
I really believe that it was, also there was something there before that. I believe there was probably a wooden structure there, because that basement shows much older than the 1890s as far as
okay.
a foundation
Yeah,
and
I know
structure.
that stone
Right.
basement has a really old look to it.
The picture that
Yeah.
was just up there was one of the,
Yeah, we need to bring that one back.
this was the old, I think that was the choir loft, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And on the inside, they had placed these huge glass panels. They were actually like old storm windows or something on the existing balcony as well as the choir loft. We removed all of them. There was a suspended ceiling in both of these balconies, which we removed to expose the original beadboard ceiling of the church on that part. That's all been replaced with furring and drywall, also insulated. This is part of the framing process of the main room after the original ceiling and framework was removed. They put all new construction in there, and this was the beginning phase of the drywall, where they were putting the drywall on that new framework, which was
that, okay, that's like ceiling
Yes,
that I'm
yes,
seeing?
ceiling,
Yes,
yeah.
that's the
Okay.
ceiling.
Yeah, we have these scissors lifts that have been instrumental in all of the process. I've even monkeyed around with them myself after I figured them out. And there they are.
Some of the
Was
work.
that you up there, Earl?
I
That was
don't,
you.
No, that wasn't me. It was somebody taping off or masking off the beams that we're working on. This is one of the drywall workers putting up drywall around and taping. This is some of our trim wood that we just got in. It's all going to be trimmed with some nice poplar wood. This is an
Oh,
interesting
there we
area.
Go. Yeah.
This is what
Earl's
I've been
really been working hard on this.
I made a real mess with this. Sanding these original beams down, which we have decided to keep exposed.
Oh, okay.
And you can see a little bar at the top that goes across that was put in for reinforcement to hold things together a little bit. I've sanded these beams down. It's a very interesting configuration of beams, and I'll be incorporating some of the original newel posts, ballast, and railings from the old stairwells into this project. The new railings that are being installed now will go into the diagonals on the left and right. And this was just a very interesting array.
So
of
you
beams.
did the sanding work.
Yeah,
and
that's-
Yeah.
You're gonna finish them with
Yes.
something?
Yeah, I'm going to do a clear coat on them. I've embellished the edges. Here's what they look like now. I've been sanding them down with a 8-inch DA grinder and made a huge mess in the process. It was I had to wear a respirator as well as a face shield while doing this, and then vacuum with the shop vac afterwards because it was such a mess.
Aren't you glad we're living in a day and age when we have respirators
Oh,
and
yeah.
things
Oh
that
gosh,
we
yes.
can use?
Yes.
Playing with the scissors lift was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. This I took just yesterday.
Okay.
These are the railings, the post for the railings that they're putting in. On, that's the mezzanine balcony that is on the east side of the building. In the right-hand corner, you get a little glimpse of the baptismal area that we
Down
want to
on the bottom
refinish.
over there.
Yeah. It's a
Oh,
very
okay.
nice area, and I'm glad that we were able to. I think everybody on the board was on board with maintaining
Yeah.
that.
It looks like you've divided the windows, like the semicircular part above the balcony.
Right, that's where the floor went
Right.
across.
Yes, but there's an opening there to keep them exposed.
Okay.
Here's the New Wood crew yesterday working on the railings.
Yeah. Okay, I haven't seen that one
Yeah,
yet.
I just took that yesterday. Here's another shot of the railings that are starting to go in. You can see some makeshift boards that we put in just as a temporary safety feature to keep people from falling off or getting too nervous about being up there. Here's another shot of when the ceiling started to collapse. This was the second ceiling that was put in probably in the late 1940s, early 50s. I could tell by the
Was that the
tile.
one above the drop ceiling?
Correct.
Yes, this is the one that was starting to cause the real problems.
It was actually starting to collapse, and we've probably taken out 5 or 6 tons of material.
And this is the drop ceiling?
Yeah, that's the drop
That was
ceiling.
the drop ceiling.
We had to put some props up there to hold it up so it didn't fall on anybody's head until we got everything out of there. And it's just been a lot of work. Here's a shot of the ceiling coming down. And that was the ceiling from the late 1940s, early 50s with the Celotex tile. And there's another shot. You can see where that was really coming down there.
Yeah.
And there in the corner was the baptismal area. Here's the crew removing that.
Removing that part. That was very precarious.
Oh boy.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
very
Oh,
meticulous
yeah.
about their attack on that.
Yeah, it was like
project.
Jenga, trying
Yeah.
to take this
Oh.
down so it didn't all come
Yeah,
down.
it was scary. And as we started to take that down, you can see the original ceiling
Yeah,
with the bead board, which was absolutely beautiful. And that's where we found the large medallion that's in the top, which you'll see shortly. I didn't find. Here we go.
There it is.
There it is.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
actually quite beautiful.
Oh,
It had to
yeah.
have been beautiful at one point.
Yes, it was. Unfortunately, underneath was a mess, and they had cut
Yeah.
holes in it to suspend the ceiling from the 1940s and 50s. Here's our storage container being delivered.
Wow.
Our 40-footer.
That is a big one.
Yes, it is.
It's full.
It's
It looks
packed.
like the back end of a semi.
Basically.
That's pretty much what it is.
And I don't think we could get too much more in that. We have it packed to the gills. Here is the ceiling exposed, the original framework that was up there, and you can see those posts going up. They did a pretty impressive job of jacking up those scissors trusses with they had like 30 and 50-ton hydraulic jacks and long beams that they made to jack them up with. It was kind of scary watching them do it, but they did an excellent job. They were very meticulous in their preparation, and they drew things together. We had some chain type turnbuckles that they used, heavy duty, to draw the center piece together where those beams are, and they braced that with some steel strapping. Here's our drywall, and we got that delivered, and that's the new mezzanine balcony.
Right, that's the new
over top
part
of it.
that they put on.
And you can see some white insulation, extruded polyurethane foam that was sprayed in, because there was no insulation in this building. It was strictly dead air space.
That's those white areas on the
Yes.
wall
Right,
that I'm
that's-
seeing?
yeah.
So it's super insulated now. It's going to actually be easier to heat this and cool this building than it was before.
Oh yeah, notice a difference in there already.
Oh yeah, it's
You
airtight.
walk into that room.
Smells better.
Yeah.
Here's some more finishing of the drywall and the coffered ceiling area, and that's all painted now, of course. And here's the
Oh, there's the
The
medallion.
rosette that's
Yes.
on the, that
Yeah.
you're on the, in with on the picture.
Yes.
And incidentally, I didn't take a picture of it yet, but all the board members signed the upside of that medallion.
Okay.
So kind of like a time capsule thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
The medallion is this rosette. Now,
Correct.
what is the purpose of the rosette?
it was a centerpiece, and if you see the hole in the middle of it, that was, from what I've been told, originally there was a 10-foot diameter gas mantle chandelier that was suspended from that. There was actually a pipe that came down through.
A gas chandelier.
Gas chandelier. It had gas mantles on it. And it's amazing they didn't toast the place a long time ago. But this was all painted. I must have pulled a couple dozen nails out of this thing, and I stripped it down and pressure washed in between, and then I had to do a lot of sanding, and there's about half a dozen coats of polyurethane on that. It's all one solid turn piece of Douglas fir, and it probably weighs about 40 pounds.
40. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're. It's in the picture here.
Yep.
There's another girl in the picture with the two of you.
That's
Yes.
A clerk. It says
That's
Stephanie Feist.
Feast.
Feast. Stephanie
Feast, yeah.
Feast.
She's our clerk. She's a wonderful addition to the library.
Yes.
I love having her there. You know, it's like, you know, we have a good crew there.
Yes, we do.
We really do.
And we have a tremendous board, directors that are committed. We have some people that are very knowledgeable in obtaining grants, and as far as codes go and regulations, they're experienced not only in the library but also on the town board and government itself.
Oh,
So
okay.
they've been a tremendous help in this whole
Oh,
process.
okay. Now, there was one picture we
Okay.
need to go back to, Chris,
Okay.
the one before this one. We hadn't really talked about that. There.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, that's the trim wood for the gabled ends where there's going to be a 6-foot diameter semicircular window with a casement type of operating panel underneath. There's
Oh,
actually
okay.
2 of them there that
Okay.
are superimposed. So each of those will go up in the gabled ends, and that will be in conjunction with the
And
restoration.
this
Yes.
is...
This is one of the original stained glass windows that came from the library. This is actually, there were actually, what, 9 or 12 of those originally around some of the other windows?
I think so,
Yeah.
yes, from old pictures.
Yes,
You
and
can-
this,
Is that you? No,
that's
who-
me. That's
Yeah,
me,
okay.
Yeah, I spent a bit of time restoring this. 2 of the panes were broken, so I had to replace them with stained glass. That's my famous 8-inch DA grinder. I probably went through half a dozen layers of paint on that and reglazed and painted that whole thing with, there's some of the painting process and reglazing once I cut and put in the new glass panels to try to match the same color.
Yeah.
And there it is,
Oh,
hanging in
okay.
It
my
is complete.
living room. And that will be hanging in that area where those beams are that I'm refinishing. And it will be kind of just a nostalgic area, historical significance.
You don't know if those were all the original colors then in the stained glass, do you, or do?
Pretty close.
Pretty
There
Yeah,
was
they-
some-
yeah, they're
There was
close.
pretty.
Oh, okay.
There was some broken glass. This is
Okay.
one of the semicircular windows that will go up in the gabled end. There's 2 of those, one for each gable, and Let's see, what else do we have? I think we're getting pretty close to the end on that. That's it. I thought so.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
a lot of interesting things, good things going on. Ripley needs this very badly. I know we've had a little bit of opposition, very little bit of opposition, but we have nothing else in this town, and so this is good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay. Now, how can people get a hold of you if they want to help out in some way or anything like that?
Oh, they can always just call the library. Okay, our phone number is 716-736-3913. They can contact me by email. It's director@ripleylibrary.org. So they can call us, they can email us, they can stop in, even better, so you can just stop in, come see us and come see what's being done. When people do pop in, I always encourage them to go, take a look, go see what's going on out here. So.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a little over 6 minutes left.
Excuse me.
Are there some other things you'd like to mention about this project?
I believe that, on that line, as far as help is concerned, in the very near future, we hope to be holding an open house.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And I think
that'll be fun.
hopefully by then the pandemic will be over
Oh,
with. And
wouldn't that
all
be
of that.
nice?
But we want to have
That'd be nice.
a live string quartet. We
At
wanna
the
have
open house?
Yes, a very
Yes,
formal open house.
Before we bring the books back in, so
yeah.
that there's room to do this.
Yes, and on that note, eventually we will need some help moving
Oh my
books.
gosh,
We've
yes.
had the same group of people doing the same thing over and over, moving books, and all volunteers, I might add. And it's been marvelous.
It has.
But we will be needing help to move things back in and recategorizing, reshelving, assembling the shelves. We got a really good deal on some used shelving from
good.
Gannon University.
Oh, good.
And got 44 steel shelves that will occupy the new balconies. And I think we probably have enough books to fill almost all of them up that we have. We have tens of thousands of books, and we have gotten rid of a lot of books over the years too through our sales and
the book sales
donated.
and
We
things.
donated probably 4,000 or 5,000 books to the American Literacy Volunteers a couple of years ago, and yes, the book sales have been tremendous. I've always been a big customer of the book sales.
Connoisseur of
Yes,
used
and
books.
I have the books to prove it. So.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
always have liked to go in at book sales, and it's amazing how often I have found books that I'd been wanting to read for only 50 cents or
Yes.
a dollar. I mean, certain books are worth acquiring and keeping
Timeless.
because they're maybe on subjects that you consider important or and things like that. And
Certainly.
and some books, I wind up finding books that are of interest to family, friends, and things. People on the list of people that I give gifts to.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So it's kind of a good
a classic book.
a place to
Nothing like it.
get books that you can give as gifts, and quite often I'll take books and pass them along that I bought for myself to read, and that if I know I'm not going to read them again, I'll give them to somebody else, and it's a lot of fun. But of course, this past year they didn't have the summer one at. I normally go to the ones at the library in Mayville, and they
Yes.
didn't have the summer one, and they probably won't be having the one that coordinates with the Winter Festival on the same weekend. I don't imagine.
No, not this year.
It's going to take months to get everybody vaccinated and everything.
Yes, the pandemic, unfortunately, is going to be with us throughout this year, at least.
Probably.
Which I guess is the one thing that is, if we need to be renovating our library, now's a good time to do
Yes.
it. When
Perfect.
when you can't have a lot of people
when we can't
coming
have a lot of
around and
people in there
spending
anyways,
time,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're planning on having treats and things at this open house?
Oh, yes.
course.
We want to turn this into, you know, like a beautiful open house. We'll have like appetizer treats and, you know.
Are you looking for, if there's anybody in the viewing audience that would like to prepare treats or something?
Oh, absolutely. And we're not going to turn away, you know, help like that. That, you know, the more people that know about this and come into it, it's, you know, it's like, wow, look what they're doing here. This is big. This is really a big deal for Ripley. It's a big deal for the community. It's just a big deal for everybody that, you know, like, come in and see this. Come in and partake of this. It's really cool.
Yes. We also have, we should mention, the bookworm.
The bookworm?
Yes.
Yes, we actually have a very good newspaper.
Oh,
that-
it's a
that comes-
newspaper.
that
Yeah,
comes
it's a
out.
newsletter.
Newsletter.
But it might as well be a
Okay.
newspaper.
It's quite lengthy. It goes out over the internet, all over the world.
It's on our
And
website. People can
it's,
obtain it on our
And it has
website.
actually become an example for many libraries throughout
Yes.
the country. And it's a wonderful publication. So that's something that we will probably be announcing.
So people
our
can
opening with.
subscribe to that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, they can, yeah. Just contact us. They can even go to, what is it, the bookworm at 14775.com, 14775.com, that was, or .org.
14775.com.
That's our zip
Yeah.
code.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's our zip code, it's Ripley zip code.
Okay, okay, and there was something else I was just going to ask you, and it's gone and slipped my mind. But it sounds like it's going to be quite a bit of fun.
Oh, yes. We're very excited
Yeah.
about it.
It's been a lot of work, but yes, it's going to be a
been
lot of fun.
Well worth it. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your coming on to talk about this
thank you for
today.
having us.
I think that the viewing audience, maybe people who normally don't go to the Ripley Library, might come over.
Certainly.
But anyways, I was going to say that not only can this be seen, this episode of Fresh Perspectives here in Chautauqua County on TV, but the studio has a website. It's Access Chautauqua County. TV.org,
Okay.
and plus there is a link to YouTube. So actually, there's a possibility of people all over the world being able to
see
this episode about your library. So your library may become famous.
Well, that would be wonderful. And we have our website too. It's ripleylibrary.org. We have a lot of the pictures have been placed up on the website and things that are going on. Our newsletter can be obtained through a link on there. We have a lot of different things. Something that's really become a big hit on there is called our virtual tours. And they're just things that have been put on there for people to be able to see different things from around the world. And I have received a couple of different emails from people that, from different states, that their kids, because of the pandemic and their home, that they took them on and they came across our library website and found these virtual tours and let the kids do these tours, and it is so I've had people contact us and say, what a great website it is. So if everyone can visit that.
Well, we've come to the end of another episode of Fresh Perspectives, and I'll see those of you in the viewing audience again on the next episode.